Hey guys, I am Zach and I am here to do my winter book haul. So, it's been like 4 months since I did a book haul, if not more, and I've definitely accumulated a lot of books since then, so I won't be doing all of the books that I got from the last 4 or so months. But I will be doing a good chunk of them, especially all the ones that I was sent for review. So let's just get into it, and I'm going to get started with the books that Scholastic sent to me. So I am super excited about this first book. It's actually the next book I'm going to read, and I've been waiting for it for so long, and that is The Traitor's Game by Jennifer A. Nielsen. This is the first book in, I believe, a trilogy, and this is Jennifer A. Nielsen's first YA book. And I love her Ascendance trilogy. She has two standalones, I believe, that are also out, and I've also read the first two books in her Mark of the Thief trilogy, and they are phenomenal. And I just can't wait to see how she handles a YA book. This is high fantasy. I don't know too much about the story. I want to go in blind, especially with this being an author I love. I just want to give her the benefit of the doubt and just go in completely blind. The next book I have is Dragon Rider by Cornelia Funke. This is the first book in, I believe now it's a series. I don't think it was originally published to be a series, but the second book, The Griffin's Feather, is coming out within the next few months, I feel like. And so I requested a copy of Dragon Rider so that I can read it before I get the second book. But this wasn't the edition I thought I was getting, which is fine. I'll just get that edition when it comes out. But I'll try to put up the edition that I thought I'd be getting that matches the cover of the second book just beautifully. But still, I'm really excited to read this. I've read the entire Inkworld trilogy by Cornelia Funke and the first three books in her Mirror World series, and I love them. And pretty much this is just another book by an author that I like, and again, I don't really know too much going into it other than there's dragons and it's middle grade, so I am excited to get to this at some point before book 2 comes out. Then I was sent The Adventures of John Blake, Mystery of the Ghost Ship by Philip Pullman, illustrated by Fred Fordham. And this is a graphic novel series about a young boy on the high seas, and there's time travel. That's really all I know. Again, I really love Philip Pullman as an author. I've never read a graphic novel from him. I was offered the chance to read this. I took it. I'm excited and can't wait to see what's in here because it sounds more like magical time travel than like sci-fi time travel. So I'm really interested to see what goes down in this book. Then I was sent The Serpent's Secret, the first book in the Kiranmala and the Kingdom Beyond series, which is a new series coming out, I think, this month. I think this might even already be out. I'm not 100% sure. But this is the first book in a middle grade Indian mythology series, and it's written by Sayantani Dasgupta, and I'm just excited. Like, it had me at Indian mythology. Pretty much anything mythology, you got me, more or less. Then I was sent Horizon 3, A Warp in Time by Jude Watson. This is the third book in Scholastic's Horizon multi-platform series. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this series. It's about a group of kids who sort of their plane crash lands in a jungle environment, but they were supposed to be over, I believe, Alaska at the time, and so they were very confused. And so they sort of explore and find out they're more or less being hunted. And it's an okay series, but honestly, I probably shouldn't have requested this third one, and I don't know if I'm going to continue with the series beyond this book, but it is relatively short, so hopefully this turns me around on it. Then, due to some sort of mix-up, I was sent 2 copies of World of Warcraft Traveler, The Spiral Path. This is the second book in the World of Warcraft Traveler series that I loved the first book. It was amazing, a perfect middle grade fantasy, and if you're a fan of World of Warcraft, or you have kids that are a fan of World of Warcraft, or you're a fan of World of Warcraft and you have kids that don't know about it yet, This is a great way to introduce them, and it's just so good, and I can't wait to continue on in the series. The story itself is about a young boy named Aramar Thorn, whose father sort of abandons him and his mother when he was really young, and he kind of goes off to sail and be a merchant, but he comes back and wants Aramar to come with him for an extended period of time. Aramar doesn't really want that, and then the ship gets boarded by pirates, and Aramar is sort of set adrift at sea with his father's compass and his father's first mate, and they're just trying to survive in this world full of a lot of creatures that will try to kill you. As anybody who has played WoW knows, everything wants to kill you. So this is a fantastic series, and I can't wait to get to the second book. This second volume will probably be donated to the library. I just need to make sure I know when it comes out so that I don't give it to them ahead of time. But other than that, yay! So excited for this. And the last of the Scholastic books, I don't know if I showed this in my last book haul or not, so just in case I didn't, I have Sword Will Travel by Garth Nix and Sean Williams. I haven't read anything by either of these authors, but I've heard good things about both of them. This is about a boy and girl who discover a magical talking sword in a dried up river. And that's all I really know about it. I'm actually thinking about getting to this within the next month or so. I'm really looking forward to it, and it just sounds like a fun middle grade fantasy. Then HarperCollins sent me Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is the first book, and I believe a trilogy, about a young girl who attends this school, but her main reason for doing so is to solve the cold case associated with this school. The person that built this school, his wife and child were kidnapped by somebody just known as Truly Devious. And so she wants to go in and solve this cold case, but I believe this case might not be as cold as she thinks. And this just sounds fantastic. I've heard nothing but great things about Maureen Johnson, and I love a good mystery thriller, so hopefully I enjoy this. Then I was sent Where I Live by Brenda Ruffner. This is about a girl named Lyndon who is homeless and lives in her school, but she does everything she can to make sure that nobody thinks she's homeless. But when a girl comes to school with a bloody lip, it prompts Lyndon to look into her situation, but that investigation gives her attention that she doesn't necessarily want, and that could be very unfortunate for her and her situation. And this sounds like a very emotionally draining contemporary that I don't know when I'm going to get around to, because emotionally draining contemporaries drain all of my emotions, and I get in book slumps for like weeks, and I hate that. So I just kind of need to be in the right mindset and be prepared for it, and maybe I'll like this. It sounds pretty interesting. Then I was sent Markswoman by Radhi Mehrotra, and this is about a girl named Kyra who is a member of the Order of Kali. She is a markswoman who is an elite warrior, and she wants nothing than to avenge the death of her family, but as a markswoman she needs to be disconnected from her personal life. But when the leader of the organization dies under suspicious circumstances, Kyra believes that it's this woman Tamsin who actually takes her mentor and the leader of this organization's place that killed her, and so she goes out in search of proof, and it seems like a great political intrigue fantasy story. And then Harlequin Teen sent me Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. I don't know too much about this. I don't know if it's fantasy, I don't know if it's dystopian or futuristic, but it's about a girl whose mother goes missing when she travels to the self-proclaimed sin city of this world, and she goes looking for her mother, but might not like what she finds, from what I can tell. But this comes out on April 10th, and it sounds really interesting. I got this today, so I don't know too much about it, though I have heard a couple of hype rumblings through the blogosphere and booktubosphere. But yeah, I'll probably read this sometime next month and let you know how I like it. And then finally, for the books that were sent to me, author Trisha Copeland sent me her entire Kingdom Journals trilogy, which I am very grateful for, don't get me wrong. But when she asked if I wanted just the first book or the entire series, I did just say the first book, and there was good reason for that. And when I opened this first book and read the first page, I knew that I needed to be in a very particular mindset to read this series because the writing isn't that great. I mean, the story may be fantastic for all I know. It seems to have this very charmed feel to it with a prophecy about three witches that will come together and save the world. And that sounds awesome. And our main character is a vampire witch hybrid, which sounds kind of awesome as well. But I just need to be in a certain mindset to read these, and I haven't gotten there yet. But when I do, rest assured that I will be reading this, and I will not be pulling any punches. So now on to the books that I either bought or were gifted to me by friends, family, whatever, because I do have a couple of Christmas books in here, or books that I got for Christmas. But yeah, let's just get into it. So the first book I have here is The Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. Don't know too much about this other than it has to deal with like magic, and I'm talking more magician magic, it seems, like the showmanship of like Vegas magicians or party magicians as opposed to like fantasy magicians. So it sounds really interesting. I don't know too much about it, but I have heard really good things. So hoping to read this soon. And then, because I am completely trash for this author, Jennifer Ann Davis released new covers for her True Rain series, which is what I've been waiting for because I didn't want to get the old covers if there were going to be new covers, and that was still kind of up in the air. But they came out last October, and they're freaking beautiful. If you don't know what the True Rain series is about, give me a minute, I'm going to show you the books, then I'll tell you what it's about. So, I have The Key, Red, and War. If you don't know what the True Rain series is about, it's about a small island kingdom called Greenwood Isle, and 17 years before the start of the series, an evil overlord took over the good king and killed him, his wife, and supposedly their child. But it seems that the child may have survived, and our story is told from two points of view, Rima and Dharmic. Rima is a young girl who lives on a farm with, I believe, her aunt and uncle, and Dharmic is the second-born son of the evil king that took over this country. And this series is good. It's really, really good. I'm not going to say that it's not, but her second series that I actually have here, and I'll show you in just a second, is so much better. Just, oh, so much better. But this is actually a really good series. I like how she subverted tropes, and I'm actually planning on rereading this series later this year. So one of the reasons it took me so long to get this series and the next series I'm about to show you is because the second series had a hardcover option, whereas the first series didn't. So I wanted to make sure that if the covers were changed, would there be a hardcover option? And the covers were changed, no hardcover option. I went for paperbacks. So I also got the entire Reign of Secrets series, and that is comprised of Cage of Deceit, Cage of Darkness, and Cage of Destiny. So I can't tell you much about this series because it would spoil the True Rain series, but it does take place after. It's phenomenal. Like, I talked about how I liked how the author subverted tropes in the True Rain series. How she subverts them in this book is just even better, and it's just so good. It's so good, and the fourth book is coming out soon. I can't wait. Oh. Then I got Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu in the beautiful UK hardcover edition, and I love it. I'm never gonna stop loving it. I haven't read the book yet, but I kind of don't care. The cover's beautiful. So this is the second book in the DC Icons series, which sort of tells stories of DC icons like Wonder Woman and Batman, Superman, and Catwoman. I believe are the four that are confirmed. I don't know if there's going to be any more in the series, but it tells their stories from before they became Batman, Wonder Woman, Catwoman, and Superman. Then back in December, because remember, I haven't done a book haul for a long time, Amazon was having a crazy sale. Like these books that I'm about to show you, I think all but one I was able to get for under $5, including shipping since I have Prime. So yeah, let's just get into them. And I got Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerri Maniscalco, and I've heard mixed things on this book. Some people think it's really slow and boring, some people think it's really great. All I really know is that it's about a sort of female medical examiner student, I believe, who is fascinated with the story of Jack the Ripper. Well, not just a story, I mean, he's straight up out there in this book, and she sort of gets enamored with him, I believe, and that's all I really know. Again, have heard mixed things. I'll probably read this in October, but I might not be able to hold out till then. Then I got A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This is the first book in the Charlotte Holmes trilogy, which I absolutely love. Oh, this book series is fantastic. I cannot wait for A Case for Jamie, which comes out next month. I'm so excited. But this is about the descendants of Sherlock Holmes and John Watson, and their sort of ties to their families, their ties to each other. And this first book is about solving a murder mystery that takes place at their boarding school. And finally, in that sale, I was able to get Wires and Nerve by Marissa Meyer, which is the continuation to the Lunar Chronicles in graphic novel form. And it follows Aiko as she sets out to have her own journey, I think is the best way to say that without spoiling anything. But yeah, I've already read this, really loved it, and in fact, I was also able to get Wires and Nerve Volume 2, Gone Rogue, which is huge. It's huge. I'm intimidated by this graphic novel. I'm not usually intimidated by graphic novels, so I'm hoping to read the second book soon, but I kind of want to do a reread of the first one because it has been, I think, around a year or so. So, still though, can't wait to read this complete duology. I also picked up back in November, I believe, the Target exclusive edition of Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I don't know too much about this. I know it's about a group of heroes and a group of villains, and we have a main character in each. And they're trying to fight for their cause in this city. And I've heard really good things, but again, it's huge. I mean, Marissa Meyer writes some big books, and so I don't know when I will be able to get around to this book, but I'm hoping to very soon because, again, I've heard amazing things, and I just want to know what happens in this book. Then I got Say You'll Remember Me by Katie McGarry. This is her newest book. I've already read it. I love it. This is the story of Hendrix, or he's known as Drix, who was offered a plea deal and then confessed to a crime that he didn't commit, but the plea deal did make it so he didn't spend any time in an adult prison. His records are sealed, and he can be a part of the governor's new Second Chance program, even if that means being paraded around in front of reporters. And so he's just trying to figure out his life and where he fits in that, as well as trying to figure out who framed him for this crime. But along the way he meets Elle, who's actually the governor's daughter, and they meet someplace completely unrelated. It's not as though they meet because of the Second Chance program. They meet outside of that, and Elle just kind of wants to be free to do what she wants to do. Her parents are extremely controlling, and so when they try to see if a relationship can work, maybe it can, maybe it can't, but they certainly have a lot of trials and tribulations to get through if they want to be together. But this is such a great contemporary story. I would say it's definitely more on the lighter side in terms of a Katie McGarry book. Like, I've definitely read darker things from her, but it's still a fantastic story. So then, on a whim, I picked up Stags by M.A. Bennett. This is about a girl named Greer who goes to this sort of elite school and where she is ignored at best and mocked at most. And all she really wants is to join this group called the Medievals, and so when she gets an invitation to spend a school holiday with this group, and she hears that the one that most impresses the leader will get a spot in the group, she jumps on that, but it seems that this island vacation getaway may turn into more of a psychological survival thriller. So that sounds fantastic. I think I'm going to save this for October or maybe just a late spring read, or maybe like a spring break read. That kind of sounds like it would fit there. But yeah, it sounds amazing. Then I picked up Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, the special edition by Becky Albertalli. So I've already read this book twice this year. I mean, I read it when it first came out, but I reread it twice this year and realized I didn't have a physical copy. And so, of course, I went out and got one as soon as I realized that, because this book is freaking incredible. So, as to why I've read this twice, probably within the last 30 days, is because I wanted to reread the book before the movie Love, Simon came out. And then I got the chance to see the movie early, and it's amazing. I highly recommend going to see it if you loved this book. But it's not as good as the book. And so when I walked out of the theater, I wanted to watch the movie again. But at the same time, I also wanted the rich, detailed story. So I reread the book again. So, and I'm probably going to end up rereading it before the movie officially comes out and I go see it again. But yeah. Then I got Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller. This is the first book in a series that I don't know much about other than I believe it's fantasy and pirates. That's all I really need to know. The author is coming to Portland early next month, so I want to read this before then. Then I got a pre-order of The Traitor Prince by C.J. Redwine. This is the third book in her Ravenspire series, and I love this series. It's a series of standalone fantasy novels that are inspired in some way by fairy tales. This one is inspired by the Middle Eastern fairy tale of The False Prince, as well as a little bit of The Prince and the Pauper. And it's just so good. It's got gladiator battles, romance that will crush your soul, and action, adventure, political intrigue. It has it all, and it is so good. Not my favorite of the series. The second one's probably still my favorite, but this book, I mean, it's purple. That's all. I mean, that's all. And then before I get to the last book, I got a couple more books in the Vampire Wish series by Michelle Maddow. I think I hauled The Vampire Trick in the last haul I did. I'm not 100% sure. But since then, I've got The Vampire Fate, The Vampire War, and the prequel novella, The Vampire Rules. This is an urban fantasy vampiric take on Aladdin, or at least the first three books are. Books 4 and 5 definitely aren't. That just kind of moved a lot away from Aladdin. But it's an addicting series. It's not the best. There could definitely be a developmental editor involved, but it's addicting, and I'm kind of trash for it. So finally I have Immortal Reign by Morgan Rhodes. This is the 6th and final book in the Fallen Kingdom series. Now I know there are some people that don't care at all about the Fallen Kingdom series, but I have been in love with this series since before it came out. It is my ride or die series. I love it so much, and this book was perfect because it was perfect. And it was the most wonderful way to end this series. And if you haven't heard of the Fallen Kingdom series or don't know anything about it, the best I could describe it as is a YA Game of Thrones. The author has no problem killing off some of your favorite characters, and there's a lot of political intrigue in this series, and it's just so good. And I love it so much. Before I go, I forgot about this, and I kind of have to haul it because it's the illustrated edition of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I got this for Christmas. I love it. It's amazing. I haven't actually reread it yet, but I have looked at all the pictures and they are beautiful. But I do want to reread the series, but I want to wait until I get books 2 and 3 in the illustrated edition before I do so. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to lift any of this up. Like, I might lift a stack up for the thumbnail, but holy crap, this is a lot of books. I'm going to count it out when I do the editing, and I'll probably put it in the title of the video because holy crap, this is a lot of books. Anyway, that wraps up my winter book haul. I'm going to try to do these more so that I don't have so many books to show you. Okay, that's it. That was my winter book haul. There were a lot of books. If you have read any of these books and have strong opinions one way or the other, let me know. I'm very interested to see what you guys think. Have an amazing day. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of those great things. I will see you soon. Have an amazing day. I think I already said that. And happy reading. Bye.